Hi, welcome to Rose at Home, and I'm hoping that you're going to stick around on this journey with me as I try to buy a house here at the end of 2022 or into the beginning of 2023. And I know what you're thinking, lady, you're nuts. Nobody's supposed to be buying houses right now. Have you not been paying attention? And here's the thing, I have, but I still don't think I'm quite nuts, and I'll explain why. First off, one of the things that people are concerned about is that we're going to hit a recession and that job stability is going to be lost. I'm in one of those jobs that's pretty stable. I am a high school teacher and I have tenure. I've been teaching for 15 years here in the state of Florida, and while tenure no longer exists for newer teachers, I was one of the last batches to get it before they took it away. So I still have it. I'm grandfathered in. So while I guess there are things that could happen or I could lose my job, it's highly unlikely. It's not something where my job is going to disappear and I have to worry about that. That just doesn't happen. I have as much job security as I think it is possible to have, and so it's not something that I'm concerned about. Another reason why I really think that I'm not nuts is that I don't currently own a house. It's not like I'm trying to upgrade or move to something different here in the same town that I'm in. My issue is that I'm a renter. So being a renter is causing a couple of problems. One of them is I just feel like I don't have enough space anymore. This is a pretty small apartment. Anything bigger would cost more than what this mortgage would be. And I like books. I have a lot of books. You can see some books behind me, I think. I have bookcases everywhere. I could put a bookcase. They are completely filled. I have stacks of books on the coffee table. I have stacks of books on the end tables. I have stacks of books on the floor. I have books that I have taken to my classroom to store in my cabinets at my classroom because I just ran out of space. And yes, I can stop buying books. I have cut down quite a bit in this whole saving money to get a house. But I love books and I love collecting books. Those are reading books, collecting books, two separate hobbies. I enjoy both. And so I don't want to have to think, oh, I'd like that book, but I don't have space. I don't want that to be my problem anymore. Also, this where I am right now is supposed to be the dining space in this apartment. You'll see I've got a desk behind me. Right next to me that you can't see is my Peloton. And so the only place in here to eat is sitting on the couch, which isn't the end of the world, but it would just be nice to have some space to be able to spread out and that kind of thing. The other problem with this apartment, the reason that it wasn't so bad that it was so tight, was that it was fairly inexpensive. And that was wonderful because I spent a couple of years working on finances. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But the last time we went to renew the lease here, the management company informed us that the owners wanted him to raise the rent at least $200. And luckily, he says he fought for us. I don't know how much of that to believe, but we only got a $100 raise, but still, I've never seen a $100 raise in rent ever. And he told us to be prepared that it will more than likely be at least another $100 next year. And at that point, why do I not have a mortgage? Renting is not going to be the affordable option anymore. It doesn't seem to be. If rents were staying the same and what was happening with the housing market was happening, it would probably be easier to convince me to hold off, but it's just not the case. And so again, since I'm having to pay all of this extra anyway, why not be putting the extra into something that's going to be mine, and that I can not have these terrible brown walls and all of this, that I can have something that I can personalize and really make it my own. And finally, another reason that I don't think I'm crazy is that this is not a spur of the moment decision. This was not a decision that was made when the rent went up. It wasn't at that point I just said, nope, that's it, buying a house. It is something that I had been planning on for a while. The final kind of push to, yes, this is the last time we're renewing this lease happened at that point because of the rent increase and the information we got about what will probably happen with next year's rent. But it's something that I've been planning on for a while. In the past, I'd not been the best with money. It's not been something that I'd ever really been taught about. And I just kind of, so long as everything stayed on and I could eat every day, we were rock solid. And so a couple of years ago, I was like, no, it's time to get serious. I realized, ooh, I can't believe I'm admitting this in the first video, but I was paying, when I sat down and actually wrote it down, I was paying $750 a month just in minimum payments on my credit cards. That's not counting any other bills. It's not counting car payment or anything like that. It was $750 for the minimum payments to cover all of my credit cards. And I was like, that's ridiculous. This is not necessary. And so I watched a lot of YouTube. I took the parts that I felt like worked for me. I did not use the parts that didn't work for me. Like, I never, ever, 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 ever carry cash. Like I said, I work at a high school with teenagers and some of them make stupid decisions. And so I don't want to put them in the position where they could possibly make a stupid decision. So never do I carry cash. But I did a lot of, specifically the Budget Mom stuff, to get started. And then I tweaked it and changed it and turned it into kind of my own thing. But I have now paid off all of my credit cards. I have paid off the Peloton. And I'm going to have my car completely paid off in 2 months. And so that was my, like, okay, car paid off, then everything, all that money that's been going to these payments goes into savings, so that at the end of, in the spring, so that by May, when the lease is up here, I'm in my new house and transition to a new place, and that's kind of the ultimate optimum timing. I don't know that it'll happen like that. I'm hopeful. But we have a roommate here as well, and the roommate is planning to keep the lease here and stay and continue to live here, which gives me some flexibility. I don't need to wait entirely until the end of the lease because it's going to be renewed, and we can just have me taken off at any point. So I could go quicker if the right thing came along. I could go slower if nothing good came along, but so I don't know. All I know is this is going to be an adventure, and I guess that's the final reason that I'm not crazy. I know there's a lot more into this. I know interest rates and all of that stuff, but I can't control any of that. I can only be ready for me. I can only make myself as ready as possible. What's happening out there, I've got no control over. So that's kind of where I am, but I do like trying new things and going on new adventures, and this, buying a house, especially my first house at my age, just, I don't know, it just seems like a cool adventure, and I really hope that you're gonna come along on this adventure with me, and I'm hoping that maybe you will subscribe, and I hope to see you next week where we will get this hopefully first-time home buyer journey underway.